Welcome back. Well, if you've sat through part one, you've seen all the impulse buys and things that were just great deals, hard to pass up, and there's a lot of great deals to come here, a lot of $1, $2 records in very good plus or better shape. And probably the stuff that I got the most of this weekend, I'm really going to try to focus on Willie Nelson records. They're still usually pretty cheap, and as a person that doesn't really focus on how much the records are worth monetarily, I focus more on the content and album artwork. I really don't see myself in a situation where I'll ever try to make money off of buying and selling records, but you never can tell. I ended up picking up 13 plus Willie Nelson records. I already had a few in the collection, but I think he has at least 60 studio records out there, so the hunt will continue. Me and Paul, Willie Nelson, his late 80s stuff. Paul, I guess, is his drummer, and I guess how often do you see a record out there where the drummer is the focus of the record? And Willie Nelson, it's going to be quality. There's going to be some good stuff on there. So ended up seeing this. I ended up with one extra, and I guess that means I have a trader, or one I can frame and one I can play. Either way, City of New Orleans, Willie Nelson, both in great shape. I think I paid $1 for them. Last night at Ed's house, we put this on, Willie and Family Live. This is 1978, recorded Harrah's, Lake Tahoe, in April. I mean, just look at the side one here. Quality all the way through. You get the whole Red-Headed Stranger medley live. Guest musicians on here, Johnny Paycheck. And somebody, Emmylou Harris is on there too. It looks like they played some Waylon songs as well. But we listened to the first record in this 2-record set. Great harmonica, sounds great through the system. This might be one of my favorite picks of the day. A great story from the record show. I started looking around I really wanted to focus on finding a Red-Headed Stranger today because it's one of my favorites ever made. And I asked all the dealers, did you have Red-Headed Stranger? A lot of them don't deal in country records because it's just, they don't make much money off of them. Guy happened to notice I was looking for Willie, came over and said $2 and you can have these 3 records, all of them in great shape. Real nice guy. He said, I know you'll appreciate them. And he's right, I will. Found my Red-Headed Stranger. Great album. A must-have for anybody that likes classic country and America. If you like America, you better have Red-Headed Stranger. Story goes that he used to tell his kids this story as a kind of like a good night story, and finally decided to put it down in the studio, and I'm glad he did. Great story. Found this one for $1 at the end of the day. Good shape. 2 copies, probably frame one, play one. Honeysuckle Rose, Willie Nelson and Family. You see this one out and about quite often. It's a double disc. Make the World Go Away. It's a good one. Angel Flying Too Close to the Ground. I think that's one of the best. Look at this here. Willie Nelson, A Horse Called Music. This came out, I think, like 89. The artwork is just fantastic on this. Can't say that I know a whole lot of these songs. I do know the first track there. Typical with country records is you always have the single, but not typical is when you have an artist like Willie Nelson that we can sit down and listen to these records, and front to back you're going to find gems. The Longhorn Jamboree presents Old Willie Nelson, and his friends are there too. Looking pretty rough, Willie. This is a $1 find. Nightlife, one of my favorites. This one's a David Allan Coe song, West Virginia Man. I don't know if I know that one or not. Carl Perkins. Quality. Some more of the old Red-Headed Stranger, Willie Nelson. This is a collector series disc, RCA. Again, Nightlife. Heartaches by the Number. That's a good one. Good-Hearted Woman. In Love with a Good Time of Man. All right, Willie Nelson. Phases and what stages? Phases and Stages. 74 Willie. Bloody Mary Morning. And I think that's kind of the exciting part of my weekend find is, I obviously like Willie Nelson. I've heard a lot of Willie Nelson over the years, but there's going to be songs on here by Willie that I haven't heard, and that makes me happy. Stardust, good quality copy of Stardust. That's a great album. Booker T. Jones produced. And Mickey Raphael, one heck of a harmonica player. If I could play like him, never leave the house. All right, there was my Willie grab. That's quite a bit of Willie Nelson there. Happy about that. Get into some Waylon. This is a Time Life Records release. Waylon. Again, these aren't going to sell on the internet for $200 or anything like that. Lucky to get what I got out of them if I tried to sell it. But that was never the intention. The intention was just having to listen to. Old Waylon Jennings, Jesse Coulter, Leather and Lace. I like this album cover. Some of these I haven't heard. Looking forward to listening to those. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about, one more Waylon. Will the Wolf Survive? Again, I don't know a whole lot of these tunes, but if it's Waylon Jennings, you better bet that it's going to be decent. Watched a while back on Netflix a documentary called Who is Harry Nilsson, and I never knew much about him. He's not one of the guys that you hear a lot about on the radio, or there's some bands from the 60s and 70s that just hear about all the time, and someone that enjoys music, I listen to it a lot. I've known a few of Nilsson's songs just from movies and things like that, but this is regarded to be his one of his best records. If you haven't watched that documentary on Nilsson, do yourself a favor and watch it. I mean, this is a great album. He's a great kind of atypical songwriter, different verse schemes and things like that. But that side too is just fantastic. Something, if you look at these liner notes too, John Lennon and Paul McCartney were asked what their favorite band was at some point, and they said Nilsson. This was in the mid-60s, late 60s. And then reading the liner notes, might be because their good friend Klaus Vormann played guitar. A little bit of promotion for their friend. But he definitely is good. Really happy about the band I found. Happy that I was able to work with the dealer on this one. Everybody's favorite, music from Big Pink. Great album, and I have everything by the band on our digital source and CDs and downloads and things like that. But wanted to get this. This is a reissue. The second reissue came out. The green label, Capitol. Had to have it. And it's a very good plus, excellent condition record, and I'm happy about having it in the collection. Another band album, Anthology Volume 2. Great songs on here. Mystery Train, Katie and Driftwood, Still in the Shrink. Wanted to get, this is one of the want list albums of the day. Planet Waves. And the Bob Dylan fans probably know this, but one of the reasons I really wanted to get this album is look who the backing band is. That's right, the band. And look at that list of songs on this. Really love that quicker version of Forever Young. I really like that one. I like them both, but that quicker one is great, and I really like on a night like this too. Big fan of the Yes. Yesterday's got that one in really good shape for a really good price. A little bit of questionable artwork on the back, but this has the Extended America by Yes, which in my opinion blows Simon and Garfunkel's out the window, and it's just jamming. And I'm looking forward to hearing it on ye old vinyl. Okay, another Waylon album in there. Look at that ornery guy. Waylon, you want to have a good time on a Friday night with your buddies, pop a few tops, put on Waylon's greatest hits. Good stuff. And another band album here, Stage Fright. A lot of people would say this is where the band started to lose its luster. I'm not one of those people. I like pretty much everything the band ever did. But good songs on here. Stage Fright, Rick Danko ripping it up, Shape I'm In, Manuel ripping it up. Good stuff. And finally, you know, this album isn't in very good shape. Probably the least quality record I bought today. 1971's David Crosby, If I Could Only Remember My Name. And never knew anything about this record. Last week or 2 weeks ago or so, I started reading an article about it on the internet, and that's what intrigued me. It'll play. The record itself looks to be in shape. It's just the album artwork and whatnot is pretty sad shape. But take a look at some of these musicians that helped David Crosby record this. Graham Nash, Neil Young, Phil Lesh, Bill Kreutzmann, Mickey Hart, David Freeberg. Some of these guys I couldn't tell you where they're from, but if they're on this album with these other guys, I can guarantee that they're good. Old Jerry's there. Jack Cassidy. So pretty much everybody Palo Alto, California scene. Jorma Kaukonen, Grace Slick. That's Jefferson Airplane coming at you. Joni Mitchell's on here. David Geffen. And it's not like David Crosby's too terrible himself. But I tell you, I haven't put it on yet. I need to go through a spin clean session. I'm sure it's dirty and needs cleaned up, but it's exciting to know it's 2014. Never heard of this album before. A couple weeks ago. It's a treasure, it's treasure hunt. I'm sure it's going to be great. If I could only remember my name. I'm sure David Crosby in 1971 could barely remember his name. Special shout out to AA Ron for getting us to Columbus in plenty of time, putting up with our nonsense in the back seat, dealing with Columbus traffic. Nice to make friends with some new record heads, Aaron and Jeremy. Hope you guys enjoyed the Song Association game on the way home. We'll have to play again. Looking forward to the December show.